bank Barclays beating profit expectations in the fourth quarter, reporting earnings yesterday, also unveiling a plan to return 15 billion pounds, more than 20 billion US dollars, to shareholders through the year 2028. The company aiming for a 14% return on tangible equity or better in the same period through cost cutting, shrinking the share of its investment bank, growing domestic retail banking and other steadier businesses. The bank expecting revenue to grow more than 5% each year and boosting income guidance to 31 billion pounds in 26. That's roughly $41 billion. Barclays Private Bank and Wealth Management Division represents nearly 53 billion pounds in AUM. That is more than 72 billion in US dollars for assets under management. Joining me now, the leader of the big giant company, Barclays CEO C.S. Venkatakrishnan, is with us. Great to see you. Sir, may I call you Venkat? I know many people call you Venkat.
Of course, Maria. So good to be here. And of course, you may call me that.
Thank you, Venkat. Tell us about the quarter. What drove business?
So thank you very much. It was a very good quarter. The bank was firing on all cylinders. So all our divisions did well. But if I have to call two out, one is our U.S. consumer bank. We've got a bank in Delaware that collects deposits, has a huge partnership card portfolio. So if you've got a Gap credit card or JetBlue credit card, Barclays behind it. And we bought a direct-to-consumer loan business called Best Egg. And that business has grown in its return on tangible equity from 4% 2 years ago to over 11% right now. So that's been a tremendous growth as the business has added top-line revenues and really been operationally efficient. And of course, the second part is our investment bank sitting in New York, where both in trading and in banking, we've done well. Serving American companies, serving investors across the U.S. and across the world in both financing them and in trading with them.
Yeah, great performances on both fronts. Venkat, I want to get back to the consumer for a moment, and certainly through the eyes of your U.S. consumer bank. We've been talking all morning this morning about all the money being spent on AI and how in many cases the banks are lending the money to so many companies. Can you give us a sense of the most important trends right now when you're looking at commercial and consumer credit?
Yeah. So we think the consumer is strong. What we have seen is very well-behaved borrowing statistics in our U.S. consumer bank. People are obviously borrowing, but they're also paying back, and our default rates are very low, and impairment rates are low. Part of the reason that's driving this is, of course, the government stimulus. Part of it is mortgage rates have been controlled as interest rates have little come down, and the president's actions with Fannie and Freddie. And then that obviously puts money in people's pockets, and they can both spend. And then the most important thing is, the huge amount of investment that's going on in AI, as you say. And a lot of it, we'll talk about how banks are lending, but a lot of it goes into the real economy. We think AI and AI investment is about 1 full percentage point of US GDP. That's a huge number all over the country. When we look at it, obviously, we're looking at who the borrower is. We're looking at what the purpose of it is. We're looking at what kind of leases they're getting and whether they're from the big, solid, good companies. And that's what makes that lending better. Yeah, Maria, so, the pipeline has been building and been robust through the end of last year and into this year. I think the sectors where you're going to see it in industrials, you're going to see it in healthcare as companies try to get that next level of the new drugs and the new pipelines. You're going to see it in parts of the tech economy, again, as the big get bigger.
Are you expecting growth from any one specific area in the year ahead, Venkat? Where would you say the growth comes from at Barclays in the coming year?
So within Barclays, we expect our trading businesses to do well. We expect our retail businesses to do well. And of course, the U.S. credit card business, where, we bought a company called Best Egg, which is a direct-to-consumer lender. And, as we continue to refine our digital operations in the U.S. and give a digital proposition, that's where I'm really, really hopeful that we can provide lending and credit to our 20 million plus customers in the U.S.
Venkat will be watching that story, and certainly a growth story. We so appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you so much, Maria, for having me.
Thank you. C.S. Venkatakrishnan.